Good evening and welcome to the 2018 Ivy Tech Sellersburg Night of Impact. I'm Paul Perkins, President of Amatrol, board member of the Ivy Tech Foundation, and chairman of the Campus Board of Trustees. And I'd like to begin this evening by formally thanking all of you for joining us tonight and by offering special thanks to our event sponsors. Gold sponsors include Horseshoe Foundation, George Fow Sons and Company, Ogle Foundation. Silver sponsors include Clark Memorial Hospital, AJS, KFC, and a listing of bronze sponsors can be found in your program. Without the generosity of these partners, tonight would not have been possible. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to recognize my fellow board members who are here with us this evening: Kimra Schlescher, Martin Paget, Tammy Hatfield, Wendy Dant-Chesser, and Alan Taylor. And we're also honored to have with us tonight Carrie Stemler, who serves as the Sellersburg representative on the Ivy Tech Board of Trustees. You know, when I look around at the crowd tonight, it really makes me very proud to see the campus community and state leaders joining us for this very special evening. Tonight, we come together to celebrate 50 years of the Ivy Tech Sellersburg campus and the first ever Ivy Tech Impact Award. And I can't think of a more appropriate way to do that than honoring a man who started the Southern Indiana campus, a campus that has grown and flourished into what you see today. I can imagine the hopes and aspirations Carl Scott had when he arrived here with the charge of finding some space, which wasn't here at the time, hiring staff, and I know the humble beginnings, but I can't help but wonder with all those aspirations, if he could have imagined that the campus would be where it is today, being the workforce resource and economic driver it has become. And in this, our 50th year, we're excited to have a new campus leader carrying on the work Carl began. Dr. Travis Hare joined the Sellersburg campus as chancellor just 7 months ago, and he has hit the ground running. We couldn't be more pleased at the leadership he's provided and look forward to his tenure. Chancellor Hare, would you care to come forward?
Thanks for the kind introduction, Paul. You know, it's always good for the ego when you hear your board chairman say there's a future in the career, so that's always good. I was hoping that'd get a little better laugh. Seriously, folks, before we get started with tonight's presentation, there are a few people in attendance we would like to recognize. President Sue Ellspermann sends her wishes. She is on Grandma Patrol tonight. She welcomed her newest granddaughter just 2 weeks ago. However, we are very fortunate to have with us Derek Berger. He's the Vice President of Fundraising, and he's with us tonight. Derek is over there. I'd also like to recognize all the faculty and staff that had labored so hard on the efforts leading up to tonight's event. The entire team here in Sellersburg works to ensure our students are the priority and the number one focus every day. I just can't brag on them enough. Tonight, I'd like to specifically thank members of our cabinet team: Terry Nolott, Catherine Sherrard, Jody Beatty, Jenny Eggenspiller, Todd Hoffman, Kelly Murphy, Joey Barnett, Eric Davis, Matthew Cupp, Josh Kornberg, and my awesome executive assistant, Kayla Roberts. If we could give them a round of applause. Before we move on, I'd like to introduce my wife, Jan, and my daughter, Victoria. And my parents are here as well as my siblings, so it's a family affair here on campus. You'll notice in the program for this evening, we have listed a recent graduate, Marie Hill Moyer, as a speaker. Marie was a stellar student who graduated cum laude from Ivy Tech in 2017 with her associate's degree in nursing. During her time as a student here, she was active in at least 15 student-led organizations and served in leadership positions for many of them. Today, Marie is employed full-time as a nurse at Baptist Health Floyd. Marie was planning to talk to you tonight about her experience here at Ivy Tech as a student, but she had an unexpected change of plans. She gave birth to a healthy baby girl last week, almost a full month ahead of schedule. So, needless to say, Marie has a much more important obligation to attend to this evening, so she's unable to join us, but she continues to be a shining representative for our campus. We wish her and her family all the best. Finally, it is my most sincere honor to welcome all of you here tonight as we celebrate 50 years of Ivy Tech Sellersburg by honoring the man who started it all with the first ever Ivy Tech Impact Award. 50 years ago, Carl Scott came to Southern Indiana with a suitcase and a budget of $27,000 to open a new college campus. He had no idea at that time what an impact that small budget would someday make. But that wasn't all Carl brought with him to Southern Indiana. He also brought with him an incredible vision. It was that vision that drove Carl through the early years when Ivy Tech was a fledgling campus with only 1,500 square feet of space on the second floor of a downtown New Albany shoe store. It was that vision that drove Carl through the accreditation process that allowed the first credit courses to be offered on campus in 1972. It was that vision that led Carl through campus moves to Clarksville and then to Jeffersonville before finally acquiring the land here in Sellersburg to build a permanent home for this campus. It was that vision that drove Carl as the leader of Ivy Tech Sellersburg for nearly 2 decades until he retired in 1985. Tonight, we are grateful for the vision that Carl Scott had all of those years. We are grateful and we are proud of the groundwork he laid for this campus. We are grateful for the impact that his vision continues to have. And we are grateful to all the leaders our campus has had throughout the 50 years. I looked through the visual timeline displayed in the Pat Harrison Fine Arts and Design Gallery this evening, and I was amazed at the campus transformation Carl led during his tenure. By the way, Pat Harrison is here tonight, and we want to thank you, Pat, for your continued support of the college campus. In his first year operating the new college campus, Carl enrolled 66 full-time students in 7 different academic programs. By 1972, just 3 years later, enrollment had increased to 642. I just have to say, Carl, I sure would love to know your secret for that kind of enrollment boom. In addition to astronomical enrollment increases, Carl also added 3 additional programs of study during that time frame. As if all of that wasn't enough, just 1 year later, Carl and campus leaders negotiated the purchase of the property, which is home to our campus today. By 1977, Carl had also supervised the construction of a 30,000 square foot building next to us, today known as Fowl Hall, a building that now encompasses nearly 100,000 square feet of classrooms, labs, student services, and offices. Carl continued to lead the campus until he retired in 1985 as vice president and dean. Today, the Sellersburg campus impacts our community by serving nearly 10,000 students from Southern Indiana and Kentucky each year. We produce quality graduates who impact this community and contribute to what makes Southern Indiana a great place to live and a great place to work. All of this and all of it is possible because of the work of Carl Scott and his colleagues. Folks, we now come to the part of the evening you've been waiting for. Carl, would you please come forward to the podium? Carl, tonight as we celebrate 50 years of Ivy Tech Sellersburg, we also celebrate the tremendous impact of your career and perseverance. Your dedication was great. It moved the college forward so that it could become the thriving campus we gather in tonight. In recognition of that dedication and commitment to our campus and our community, it is my great honor and privilege to bestow upon you the first ever Ivy Tech Impact Award. Carl, would you like to say a few words?
Okay. Well, this is part of the greatest night in my life. And I want to thank everyone that had anything to do with making this night possible. I couldn't remember all the names, so I'll just thank all of you. And like the Chancellor said, I come down here in July of '69 with a suitcase and a few $1,000s. The first few nights I stayed in a hotel here in Sellersburg. And shortly after that, I went over to Robinson Nugent and talked to Jim Robinson, and he let me have one of his offices and the use of one of his secretaries to find our first building. And so from there on, I started classes out in the 7 different regions, 7 different counties that they have in a region. I went to night classes. I collected the money, hired the teachers, and did everything to start classes for a couple of years until later we were able to have buildings and expand the college. The reason we have the land here is the man that's here tonight, Ned Fowle, was responsible for securing the land where Ivy Tech stands today. And as he said, on and on the college grew. And then when I retired, I had the building, 1,200 students, 200 staff, and $3.5 million budget. So that was what I did to start this place. And now I'm pleased to see how it's grown so much all these years. And I hope the people that are here now I wish them luck to continue your growth. And again, I thank you for tonight. I never expected this, and I'm really happy and honored to be here with you tonight.
Before we move on to the closing tonight, we have another special person to recognize here this evening. She is a leader in the community who truly needs no introduction, but we're going to give her one anyway. Dana Huber serves as the Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations for Huber's Orchard, Winery and Vineyards in Starlight. She has been instrumental in growing the winery business over the past 15 years and led efforts to introduce distilled spirits, tours, and tastings to the lineup in recent years. In addition to her efforts at work with the winery and the distillery, Dana is devoted to her work within the community as a volunteer. Her resume of service includes tenures with One Southern Indiana, the Indiana State Fair Commission, the Indiana Youth Institute, and many others. Ivy Tech Sellersburg is humbled to have benefited from Dana's expertise and passion for the past 10 years as she served on our campus board of trustees. Tonight, we wanted to take the opportunity to thank Dana for her countless hours of service to this campus as she retires from the campus board. At this time, I would like to ask my friend, Dana Huber, to please come forward and accept a token of our gratitude.
Thank you very much. This is so appropriate and so awesome. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we're going to hold our breath together. Thank you. Thank you very much. So appreciate it. I just want to say it's been an amazing opportunity to see this campus go from very unique beginnings to see it develop into what it is today. I feel like I've taken away so much more than I've been able to give to this campus. And tonight, being able to meet Carl Scott and to hear him and Ned Fowle talking about how this campus really started definitely needs to be documented in a book. So these things are the fabric of our community. I've been very proud to be a part of everything that's happened here, and I know it's in good hands with Chancellor Hare and the team here at Ivy Tech. So I know that it will be a lasting tradition forever. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
At this time, I would like to invite our Executive Director of Development, Josh Kornberg, to the podium. Josh has been leading our campus foundation as Executive Director for just about 6 months now, and he's really spent a good portion of that time in his new role preparing and putting together tonight's event. Josh, I think I speak for everyone in attendance tonight by saying job well done. Thanks, Josh.
Well, thank you, Chancellor Hare. And ladies and gentlemen, we have one more thing here to do this evening before I let you get back to enjoying the festivities. I'd like to personally thank every one of you for being here tonight and helping us make this night of impact a reality. As many of you are aware, this event is a reimagination of Ivy Tech's Legacy Award Gala. Tonight on your way in, you likely saw tribute to the Legacy Award recipients, and I'd like to take just a moment to recognize those who are with us tonight. Please welcome Ned Fowle, Kent Lanham representing Paul Ogle, the Ogle Foundation, Alice Schleicher, Phyllis Robinson representing she and her late husband Jim Robinson, and the Cutter family representing the Starlight Foundation. These past recipients have truly been instrumental in shaping our campus, and we are honored to have many of them here with us tonight. In my role here, I have been privileged to get to know tonight's honoree, Carl Scott. And if you haven't already had the opportunity to do so, I encourage you to read his biography in the program from this evening. Not only did he have an incredible career, but he also led a remarkable life. Long before Carl ever heard of Ivy Tech, he joined the Marines, serving our country in World War II. And during one of my visits with Carl, he told me a story about a time when he was enlisted as a Marine, and I'd like to share just a quick bit of that with you tonight. In 1945, while serving in Okinawa, Carl was shot in the helmet. He suffered a shoulder injury from shattered pieces and was seriously wounded. Carl was sent to Guam for medical treatment at that time. Sometime during the transfer process, Carl's dog tags were lost. He was treated and then recovered from his injuries, but before he was sent back into battle, the war in Japan had ended. Carl was sent home after 29 months at war, but his dog tags were never recovered, and so I do ask Carl, would you please come forward one more time tonight? Carl, as a final tribute of the impact that you have made on our campus, tonight we would first like to present to you an American flag that we have flown over the Ivy Tech Sellersburg campus. However, more importantly, we do have a special guest here tonight who would like to make a very long overdue special presentation to you. Carl, we have worked with Congressman Trey Hollingsworth, the United States Marine Corps, and Staff Sergeant Nicholas Wright. And tonight we would like to present you with a new set of military identification tags.
I'd like to say a couple things real quick. I know I got a long speeches tonight, so I'll keep it short. The Marine Corps is known for honor, courage, and commitment. The gentleman back here has shown his commitment to your community, to your educations, to your livelihood. He's shown his courage on the islands in the Pacific. And he's shown honor every night, every day that he has lived. He's honored you, and it's nice to see me come here and present him with this award so that he can have that honor returned. Tonight is to honor him. Thank you very much. Semper Fi.
Yeah. One more. Thank you. You're welcome. That's a big surprise. Good luck to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot think of a better way to end this remarkable night. And as we close our time together, I'd like to draw your attention to one final piece of information. And at this time, I would like to invite the staff from Ivy Tech to begin walking around the campus with what we're calling impact cards. It's at this point of the night where we're going to ask you to consider getting involved and make your own impact on our campus. Once your card is complete, you can return it to one of the staff members or drop it off at the registration table, silent auction, or either one of the bars. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank a couple people who helped make this night possible. First, I'd like to thank Lori Jones, our Assistant Director of Events, Lexi Blackwell, Assistant Director of Human Resources, and Kimberly Lewis, our Development Coordinator, for their efforts in making tonight a success. And of course, I would like to thank Ladyfingers, who catered this evening, and their service staff as well. At this time, I would like to ask Carrie Stemler, Ivy Tech State Board of Trustee member, to come forward to close out our evening.
Well, I've got some good news for you. Josh gave me this long script here, and I'm not going to read any of it. I do want to thank all the people that have helped build this campus, and I've been fortunate enough to represent this campus on the state trustee board. I haven't been to every campus throughout the state, but I've been to a lot of them. We have a lot to be proud of here. It's amazing what's been built here by the generosity of the families, Ned and Sue and Phyllis and Jim and the Slosher family. It's tremendous, and I know I speak for Sue Elsperman to say Ivy Tech truly appreciates the generosity that's been given to Ivy Tech, more importantly to this community and the students that attend here. I've been fortunate enough to really learn what goes on behind the scenes. The faculty, the administrators, the counselors that really help at this campus and all our campuses to make sure these people go into these institutions succeed in life and go on to help in business and be truly participants in our communities throughout the state of Indiana. I do have to read this one piece Josh told me to do. Finally, there are 2 reminders I want to pass along. First, our silent auction is open until 8:30. The winners will be posted on the screens by 8:35, and you got to make sure you pay if you win. I want to share, as you leave tonight, there's a commemorative rocks glass for each of you on behalf of myself and Chancellor Hare and the Campus Board of Trustees, our faculty and staff and students. Please enjoy the rest of your memorable evening. Have a safe travels home. Thank you so much for being here.